Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Hoffman and welcome to the Dose of Bliss show where we do interviews to motivate you to live your best life. Today I have comedian, content creator, and former producer of Clevver News, Loryn Powell with me today. Yay!
Hello!
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course,
I'm a fan of all of your content, as we've already talked about.
Yeah.
So today's topic is going to be about leaving a dream job to create your own new dream job and what that process is like.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? What do you want to know?
I guess let's start with, we should fill people in. Obviously everyone kind of watched Clevver, but what's it like? Because Defy Media shut down.
Yeah.
You weren't really notified about anything.
No.
And so this job was like a dream to work at. What did it feel like that moment when they were just like, bye everyone?
It was shocking. We got like no warning about it. It was the weirdest thing. We knew that Defy had been having like some issues and money problems, but we were like at Clevver, we were like, we are so successful, we're gonna be fine. Like there's not gonna be an issue. And so when it hit us and they were like, oh no, everyone's shutting down, we were like, I thought I had job security. You know, you get like all the videos I made and produced went viral, and I just was like, my job is safe. And then one day it was not. And it was shocking. And then there was like there's like 8 stages of grief or whatever they say. And the biggest thing for me was like, one day it was like, hey, this thing that I spent, 3.5 years helping someone else grow, and that someone else be Clevver, helping them grow, helping them go viral. And then when they shut down, they have nothing to show for it. Mm-hmm. Loryn didn't go viral. Loryn didn't grow on Facebook for every video that I, made successful. So it felt like it just was, I just had this like moment of like, I am not going to spend time helping someone else be successful anymore. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm gonna put all of that effort into making me successful, not someone else. Because when that someone else goes under, they don't care about me. Clevver's not worried about you. At the time, Defy didn't care about where we all went. Defy didn't care how much time and, love we put into that channel. They just care about money.
Mm-hmm. So what I find is really interesting about what you just said is when it all shut down, instead of thinking, what am I going to do with my life? You more had the concept of, I want to work for me. So my first part of this is like a 2-part question. My first part is, did the job define you in a way? Because a lot of people have really cool jobs like that. Mm-hmm. In general, people define themselves by what they do. So was that part of your identity at the time?
It's hard to say because I didn't grow up wanting to be like a producer for, a channel for someone else. So I don't think that it defined me, but I do think that when you are working creatively for a full-time 9-to-5 job, and then you take it home, obviously, like I lived, eat, and breathed, Clevver. It's all I could think about. So I wasn't able to do anything on my own. Even in my free time, I was exhausted. So in that sense, it defined my day-to-day because I was only able to make things for Clevver. There was no Loryn Powell brand, even though I always wanted there to be. I basically took a 3.5-year break from pursuing my actual dream to pursue someone else's. Mm-hmm. So the identity thing, I think like there's a lot of benefits, and I'm grateful, and I grew, and it was just this moment of like, hey, if I can make them go viral, if I can make content for them that resonates, that people want to share and tag their friends, why can't I just do that for me? So it was a great learning experience, and I think it definitely equipped me with the tools to be able to do it myself when they did shut down.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to get into next is the thought of doing it for you. So you originally wanted to work for yourself this whole time.
Well, I always wanted to be, I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be a writer. I came out here for screenwriting, and then it transformed into like, oh, I want to write and be in the things that I'm writing the same way like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Amy Schumer, what they have done and created. And it was like, maybe I want to write for SNL. And then, it's hard to do that from scratch, to just write your own things and then put them on the internet and hope people watch. So taking the time to go do it for Clevver did help me to where when that ended, I could say, oh, okay, I know how to do that for myself now. And I could just hit the ground running because I had 3 years experience doing it. And it just changed basically whose platform it went on. Instead of putting it on Clevver's platform, it went on mine. Because I was writing and acting in the things I was doing for Clevver. So yeah.
Did you, when you went home, like, were you hoping like Clevver would back together and you wanted to go back there? Or were you thinking, actually, this is kind of like a relief now, I can do what I really wanted to do and it's just pushing me to do it?
Yeah, there was like a month of mourning, right? Where we all were like, this is so sad. We need to get Clevver, you know, Clevver needs to sell to somebody, like, let's bring the gang back together. There was definitely like a solid month, probably into the new year, where we all were kind of hoping Clevver, it would just go back to normal. We would all go back to having our jobs as normal. And then in January, I kind of just made this like 2019 resolution of like, hey, that's it. I'm not putting my energy towards someone else's success anymore. Let me like try. If I like lean into the Loryn Powell brand 100%, make no excuses, and then I don't succeed, at least I could go, well, I had a job, it got in the way, you know? It's like, hey, you're your own worst enemy. And if you fail because you couldn't find the time to do what you really want to do, this was like, I'm gonna go all in, let's see what happens. And then at the end of that, if nothing comes from it, then I could go back and get a job somewhere.
That's so inspiring how you thought of that. Were you scared? Because you make it sound like I'm just gonna do it, but did you struggle with that thought in your mind?
I don't know. I feel like not scared. I feel like I just am so used to, okay, I'll tell you this. When I was screenwriting, like writing features, it's like a 100-page feature, right? I've sat on so many screenplays because I don't want anyone to read it. Because if nobody reads it, then it didn't fail. If somebody reads it and it gives me notes and says, this is never gonna be a movie, you're not experienced enough, that's an ego blow, right? I like spent so much time not making things that I come to realize, like, just write something in 5 minutes, shoot it, put it on the internet. Everyone's going to forget about it in a day. So like, it's less scary. The internet is the turnover rate is so high. If something bombs, people are going to forget about it and you could do something the next day, you know? So it wasn't scary. I guess what's scary is when you have success and then something bombs. And it's like, well, I thought I knew what I was doing. Maybe I don't. That's what's scary. It wasn't scary like just jumping in.
Yeah, and creating a business. So what are your tips for people to change that mindset? Because some people have that mindset, I quit my job, I lost my job, I got fired, whatever happened, and then they're just sad. Like, how you pick up the pieces where your thoughts like, I'm just gonna do it for myself. Like, you turned it to a positive.
I think like you have to be prepared to do it more than like a week and do it more than once. You know, I think you need to do like, you got to do it over and over and over to then be able to say, well, this did work or this didn't work. But a lot of people, I think, will do something once, and if it's not immediately successful, then they think that they've failed and they quit. And then, like, I think you just have to be able to, and I think fortunately, I was in a place financially where I could really just give this a go for a couple months. And now I'm making money off of my content, but it's hard. I understand, like, a lot of people don't have that luxury of like, I can't just quit my job for 3 months unless you save a lot of money and then like hope that the money will follow.
Yeah, so, but I think that's really cool to say, because first off, in 3 months you started making money off of this, which is like very like not normal. No, it doesn't normally happen. And so I think though for other people, it is sometimes okay if you have something on the side, but you're at least have the goal, if you have the idea, because when you really think about you, in the back of your mind, you always really did want to do your own thing. Mm-hmm. So everyone has something in the back of their mind of where they want to be, and they're not exactly there. Yeah. So when you have that mind, it kind of manifests for you. Like, Clevver ended and you were sad, but you know, was there a part of you where you're kind of like, this is kind of what I wanted deep down?
Yeah, a part of me was like, all right, this is it. This is the kick in the butt you needed. Like, you have no excuse. Try to do your own thing now or you never will. And it was like, I was so comfortable at Clevver that I wasn't going to just get up and leave myself. Like it took them basically leaving me to make that jump. Yeah, or the leap.
Yeah,
they say.
to push you and to do like the,
because you're so comfortable.
Yeah,
money is great.
Comfortable with what you do. Yeah, money, like
job security, health insurance. It's hard. I don't know that I would have left all of that, just quit outright with nothing, with no prospect.
The world like pushes you, and what is really inspiring about your story too is you wanted to do that before, but maybe before wasn't the right time because you're really big on Instagram now. But Instagram wasn't as big 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have IGTV. You know, it wasn't like what it is now.
Yeah.
And that's where you're blowing up the most now.
And 3 years ago or before Clevver, at Clevver, I had the budget and I had the time and the resources to experiment on Instagram and Facebook on someone else's dime. And instead of like, so I was able to like, I have this like repertoire of videos that I know work and a repertoire of videos that I know don't work. And I got to experiment and practice and learn on someone else's dime instead of trying to figure out the landscape on my own 3 years ago. I got to spend this time like harnessing my whatever,
Your greatness.
Yeah, something like that.
Everything happens just like exactly.
It is crazy to think about.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, your story is inspiring me right now too, because it actually reminds me like before I came to LA, I had interviewed Jenna Marbles at VidCon. I just wanted to be a reporter.
Gosh.
I went with a camera. My friend happened to know her, so I got her. And I asked her, why don't you do a TV show? You're Jenna Marbles. You could get paid a lot of money to have a reality show. And she said the same thing as you. She said, why would I work for someone else and make them money when I can do it for myself?
Yeah, but I love Jenna Marbles.
I do too.
But I do think the end goal for me would be like to make a TV show.
Yeah.
I think Jenna is wildly successful in making a lot of money on YouTube. I don't, like Instagram needs to monetize. Like,
True, that was going to be my question because you make money from the brand deals I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
But it's not monetized, those videos yet, so.
Not yet. Facebook is monetized, but it's harder on Facebook because the videos have to be 3 minutes, and on Instagram they only have to be like 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and that's my sweet spot anyway. So I'm really hoping. The nice thing too about at Clevver is I worked with a lot of brands at Clevver, so I learned how to pitch an idea to a brand. I learned how to talk to a brand, give the brand what it is that they want. And I've been able to apply that to talking to brands for myself. But yeah, it would be nice if it wasn't just like sponsored content the only way that I can make
how
money.
it could grow. But what I like what you're saying for other people who might be wanting to leave a job or in the situation, like whoever's watching this and they're seeing it for a reason to like go for what they want. I like that you can utilize every area of your life to be exactly, where you are right now. Like you have the experience with the brands from Clevver. You have the experience with the editing. Like, take what you have and get it started.
Yeah, that is interesting. I never thought I edited, I made like silly videos in college. I like walked around with like a camcorder, like a mini Sony HD camcorder, and I walked around to like frat parties and like filmed my friends and edited using like Windows Media Player and then iMovie, like back in the day. I never thought like, oh, these editing skills will come in handy one day when I have to do literally everything myself. But it's like, I guess everyone, you got to be like a one-man band at this point. If you want to like save money, be efficient, like you're not hiring a cameraman. If you wait till you can hire a cameraman, you're not going to shoot. Like literally last week, my husband, because I do a lot of relationship comedy, I had this armpit detox thing and I put it on my armpits. My husband walked in on me and he was like, what is that? And it's this like black mask. And his reaction to it, I literally was like, we need to shoot a sketch right now based on that. And I went and wrote a sketch, and an hour later, I set up my camera and I made him come be in my video. 2 hours later, I edited it, and the next day it was online. Like, if you have to be able to do
and I've
everything
seen it,
yourself.
And now it has 1 million views.
Yeah. Just like on a whim. I think like you got to be able to like willing to do everything yourself.
Yeah, and that's any job. You're like the moral of the story is you're your own advocate always. If you want something, you just have to do it. You have to make it known, whether that be if your end goal is a TV show or someone have a job, doing it on your own to show to people that you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we only have a few minutes left. What's like the biggest thing you want to leave people with?
Oh my goodness, that is hard. What would you say? What would you say is the biggest thing you want to leave people with?
I think
I need an example.
an example, a motivational example. I'll need comedy examples from you. I think the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this is instead of seeing something as a negative, leaving a dream job or being defined by something or being sad, you can always find a way to spin it and to your advantage. And whatever you lead, people will follow. Like I look at you and I'm like, wow, she's doing it. Like this is amazing content. She's not even, it barely even fazed her. Like it's hard, but you didn't let it take you down.
I think a big takeaway too is you only see what people want you to see, or only like 25% of what's really going on. So for every video that does well, or for every success I have, there is a failure there too. I'm just not showing it or talking about it. Or for as confident as I may seem, or as positive, like it is hard and you get down on yourself and comments get to you. And I have blocked a lot of people. And I think the biggest takeaway is you look at my Instagram and you think I'm super successful. I look at my Instagram and think I have a long way to go. So I think there's an inspirational moment for me to be like, well, I have it good, but other people should look at it. When people are looking at other people, I think it's like, you never know what that person
really feels like.
Yeah.
And that's why I have you here for this interview, because I want people to know that whether you have 1 million views on a video or 1 view, you still feel the same. You always want to be better. You always want to work harder.
Yeah,
and the same
absolutely.
struggles always are happening. But we also need to appreciate, the moment of what we have.
Yeah.
So
I'm appreciative. I'm grateful. I feel really great, and I love what I'm doing. I always think I can get better. I always think I can do more. So that's the goal.
yeah, well, you always got to work better. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Can you let everybody know where they can follow you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to check out my Instagram comedy, I'm on Instagram, Loryn Powell. I'm also on Facebook. The videos on Facebook are a little bit longer, and you get to see bloopers of me and my husband over there as well. And that's my name /Facebook as well.
Yeah, you got to follow her. Like, find that 1 million view one with the deodorant. I love that video. All of them are amazing though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to binge all the episodes of the show, you can watch them right now on EverTalk TV and the EverTalk TV app. And I post them every Thursday on my YouTube channel and little clips on my Instagram. All my socials are at Lindsay B. Hoffman, and you can always find more tips at my blog, doseofbliss.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.